We always like to review the plights of people living with disabilities in the country, because we know that even our president recently signed a bill into law in January. We're hoping that things have changed. In your view, are you beginning to see changes? Yes, some policies changing, but have you started seeing implementation on the sides of Nigeria, on the parts of Nigerians?
When it comes to implementation, the implementation hasn't started proper. In fact, we still have a very long way to go when it comes to plight of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. And then I'm hoping that at the expiration of the 5 years train course set by the presidency, you know, they will begin to enforce the act, and then we can move on from there. But to say implementation, wow, we still have a very long way to go.
What advice, I guess, can we give towards encouraging proper implementation of these policies?
Like you said, it's not just about the government, it's about you and I, it's about the media, it's about parents, it's about friends, it's about the society, it's about institutions and all of that. So it means that all of us must come together to see that persons with disabilities are humans, you know, and they should be treated as such. Immediately we have that at the back of our mind, implementation will come smoothly. In a case where you have the government is saying, okay, we have an act, we have a law protecting persons with disabilities, and some private institutions will still be doing their own at the side, you know, against that law and cutting corners just to say, okay, we don't have these provisions, we can't make these provisions here and there and all of that. So it means that we all must play our part right from the beginning, the family, friends, the society, the church, the mosque, religious organizations, institutions, education. Everybody must play their part.
How do we start, you know, creating awareness that people with disabilities, they may have those disabilities, but it doesn't stop them from truly living their lives. How best do you think we can push this message out there? Okay,
like what I'm currently doing now, we are campaigning against disability-based violence. We are saying that persons with disabilities, apart from their gender, they are also susceptible to being violated, being abused based on their disability. So we say that any kind of abuse, any kind of violence you mete out to anyone based on their disabilities, disability-based violence, it means that, you know, whatever you do, contrary to what you should do to a human being, you have violated that person. So if a child, for instance, is being deprived of access to education, or you want to enroll a child with disability in school and that child is being deprived, that child is not allowed to participate like his or her peers, it's a kind of violence, and it could have effect on that child.
Where do we draw that line? How do people work with people living with disability better such that they don't feel pity?
Okay, let me paint a scenario to you. I got to K2 this morning and, you know, I want to get in a pep down here. And somebody approaches me and said, hey, sorry, okay, what do you want? That scenario is pity. Now, if someone approached me and said, hello, please, where are you going? Do you want to cross the road? Do you want to... That scenario is empathy. The person has, you know, differentiated between my disability and the fact that I'm a human being that needs assistance. Some of us, even without disability, we need guidance. We need assistance to do certain things. So immediately you take away the disability and see that person as a human being. You are able to relate without, you know, adding this disability, discrimination against it.
So if you were to give us like a scorecard in Nigeria, what would you say our score is? And if there's any, and is there anything in particular that we're doing right for now and that we can work towards? I know there are so many things that are wrong right now, but is there anything that as a country we're doing right, or in Lagos State that is doing right towards, and then if we can put our attention there and see how it's done, we can replicate it in the other places as well?
Okay. So let me pick Lagos State as a case study here. I think, fair enough, Lagos State, I will give them a 6/10. And I'll give them a 6/10 because, you know, there's an office responsible that is saddled with the responsibility of, you know, having the issues of persons with disabilities brought forward to the executive and legislature, which is the Lagos State Office for Persons with Disabilities. And the governor is, you know, intimate with that office is always looking for ways to make sure that persons with disabilities are given an opportunity. They're given equal opportunity here in Lagos State. You know, we've had cases of the governor releasing grants, the governor, you know, giving opportunity for employment for persons with disabilities, and he's doing so much more. Right. But a lot still needs to be done, and it also begins with our own orientation as a people. You know, how do we lift the burden of emotional stress, the burden of psychological trauma off this person, so that when the governor is giving you grants to do a business, you will do that business as a person with disability and you will thrive.